Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I've been kind of following the Vietnam Dawn closely with all these corruption cases going on. I mean, we're talking about several politicians are being sent to jail or going to court. With them cleaning up so much of their corruption, I've really been paying attention to the markets and seeing if there's any news coming out about a possible change in the exchange rate. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if these are the same people that's holding it down, and I'm going to show you here in a minute a perfect example of why they do it, because there is an article about it in the news. But with them out of the way, hopefully they'll allow the exchange rate to increase. Anyways, let's get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. Overseas, Vietnam's labor in Asia drives remittance growth. So it said an increase in labor exports and remittances from Vietnam's workers in the Asia region were the main reasons behind Vietnam's record high inward remittance totals last year. So what they're talking about, inwards remittance, it means that people are sending in non-commercial money into Vietnam. So usually it's because they got family members who are working in other countries, making more money than they would at Vietnam. And then they send most of or part of their paycheck back to the people because that money really spreads out really good. In an interview with Vin Express, Deputy Director General of the State of Vietnam's Foreign Exchange Management Department said inward remittances set a new record of $1.6 billion last year, up 32% from 2022. Man, these increases from the year before are huge. Remittances to Ho Chi Minh City also reached $9.5 billion, accounting for nearly 60% of the country's total. This marks both a record high inward remittance and a 10-year high remittance growth for the city. Experts believe the surge in Vietnam's labor export in recent years is one of the main reasons behind the positive development. The president of SBR, private lender Sacombank's remittance subsidiary, said the number of Vietnamese working and studying abroad rose to 158,000 last year, higher than the average of between 130 and 150,000 per year. This is a central factor contributing to the growth of the remittances to Vietnam. In the context of the global economy, the main driving force behind the growth of the remittances in 2023 was Vietnam's workers in the Asia region. Meanwhile, remittances from the African and American regions either decreased or barely increased. Asia contributed about half the remittances from Ho Chi Minh City, up 140% from 2022. The region's booming labor market and political and economic stability facilitate the growth of remittances to Vietnam, according to the Deputy Director of the State Bank of Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City office. Concurrent with this, COA added that the region, especially its three largest labor markets, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, would play an increasingly important role in the flow of remittances into Vietnam. As the U.S. and Europe face high inflation and geopolitical instability due to the impact of Russia-Ukraine and Israel-Hamas conflicts, remittances from overseas Vietnamese in those regions lagged behind those in Asia. Lin said inward remittances helped ensure the supply-demand balance of foreign currencies and provides support for monetary policies, exchange rates, and the foreign exchange market. So they had some great growth with inward remittances. And with them cleaning up the corruption, add to the fact that in 2023, their exports increased by 60%, which is a huge development for them. Good reason for them to increase their exchange rate. So you see what happens is people go work overseas or in other countries and make more money than they would in Vietnam. Then they send that money back to Vietnam and their family members are able to exchange them for more Vietnamese currency, which is what the politicians in Vietnam do. They get paid in US dollars and then they exchange it for the Vietnamese currency. And there is a black market over there, just so you're aware. So I read this article already, but I just wanted to show you this is what I'm talking about. Vietnam's export revenue is highest in 22 months. Vietnam's exports turnover reached nearly 33.6 billion in January. It's up 42% year over year, the highest since April of 2022. According to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, exports were mostly boosted by agriculture, forestry, aquaculture, and the processing industry, whose revenues rose 97% and 38% respectively. This isn't a small increase. This is huge. So they don't have any sanctions, and their economy continues to grow strong. Between 2022 and 23, they had a huge increase in foreign domestic investment. They had record-setting exports in 2023, and they're already starting off this year, in January, much better than they did year over year. So Vietnam's doing really good, and they continue to grow. Look at those stacks of Vietnam dong. It looks impressive, doesn't it? You can get one of these big old stacks, and it probably equals about, $50, unfortunately. Anyway, so it's looking pretty good over there in Vietnam. I'm just checking to see what kind of effect the corruption being cleaned up is going to have on the Vietnam dong. I'll continue to follow up on it and let you know. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.